This is a Fox News alert. The Democratic debate focused on the fight against ISIS, and frontrunner Hillary Clinton had this to say.
We have to look at ISIS as the leading threat of an international terror network. It cannot be contained. It must be defeated. This cannot be an American fight, although American leadership is essential.
But is that enough? Fox News legal analyst Peter Johnson Jr. is here to weigh in.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hillary Clinton, foreign policy is the Achilles heel of her candidacy, not her greatest strength. And she proved it last night. This notion that America should not lead in the fight against ISIS, should not bear responsibility, as we were talking about, in the same way that ISIS takes responsibility for killing Americans and our allies around the world. This will be, I believe, her undoing in terms of going forward, because the American people cannot tolerate a weak-willed, abdicating president. Incredibly, she said last night, Kimberly, that we need to look to the dictator, the strongman, Assad of Syria, who's killed hundreds of thousands of his own people, and the folks in Iraq to fight ISIS. At the same time, the Dems won't touch the third rail of radical Islam. And listen to what they had to say about radical extremism, radical Islamic extremism, and calling it what it is.
I don't think we're at war with Islam. I don't think we're at war with all Muslims. I think we're at war with jihadists, radical jihadist ideology, jihadi extreme terrorism.
Do either of you radical Islam? Do either of you use that phrase?
I don't think the term is what's important.
I believe calling it what it is to say radical jihadis. That's to call what it is.
Well, you'd have to go a long way to find something so weak-willed, if not weaselly, in terms of rhetoric. I understand they're not going to call it what it is.
But my God, if there ever was an example in a time to speak and be specific and show some courage in the language you used, it was after
Correct,
Paris.
and I understand the notion, the concept that you have to identify the threat in order to overcome the threat. But let's go beyond that. Once you identify the threat, how do you respond to the threat?
What is the strategy?
And in this atmosphere, if all you can say, as Hillary Clinton did last night, is that the military option is the last option, that you talk about ideas, you talk about the exchange of money, you talk about creating an atmosphere, empathy that you talked about in the past for our enemies. Empathy does not cut it. And the problem that Hillary Clinton has is that she's tied to a failed Obama foreign policy. Look at the Mideast.
Yes,
you've talked about it, Kimberly.
Absolutely.
Look at Northern Africa. Look at other parts of Africa. Look at the Mideast. Look at the Pacific. Look at parts of Asia. Look at the infiltration of Islamic extremism. Look at the fact that the FBI is targeting perhaps 1,000 people in the United States as ISIS sympathizers.
Absolutely.
So when you say that this is Assad's problem, this is a regional problem, you need to understand that the threat is not only nuclear, the threat is cyber, that somebody in Brussels with ISIS can shut down a water plant in Dallas today. We need to treat it as it should be treated.
We need leadership that can say it, call it what it is, and have
Didn't see it. I was really
strategy.
disappointed last night.
Obviously. Well, hopefully people were paying attention and making some good choices. Peter Johnson Jr., always a pleasure.
Good to see you. Happy Sunday.